Hello everybody, I'm Sir Derpy Creeper and this is WhizDum Wednesday. It's a weekly podcast style video stuff where I basically just talk about real life scenarios and better ways to improve how you are. So the whole goal is to make a whiz out of you making wise decisions and for you to steam them up and make them even better. Before we start our new WhizDum Wednesday subject, I want to give a little bit of a recap on the last WhizDum Wednesday, which was called Whoops. And it touched on mistakes. You know, a lot of people feel like they make mistakes, and that, you know, I did touch on the subject of sorry as well, where I'm like, oh, I shared my own experience of constantly saying sorry and just kind of just apologizing for who I am, but I'm not a mistake. And a thing I left off on the video, which I should have added, which I'm going to add here, is that you're not a mistake. You're made for a reason. All right, that's the thing I didn't add in the other thing, so that's a whammy right here for you to get it right here. Anyway, I want to say that it was about mistakes, and you know, people make mistakes, and it's a natural thing. All right, the best thing to do is learn from them. If you want to hear the whole segment, I'll put a card up for YouTube, and if you're on Twitch or any other version of platforms, we have a playlist here on YouTube where you can just look at all the WhizDum Wednesdays, and there's one called Whoops. It'll have a little majestic astronaut on it, and I think that's really cool. So if you want to check that out, please go check it out. I would highly recommend it. It's pretty cool. I came up with it last second, to be honest with you, and I really liked it. Now, some of you may not realize this, but people are watching you. Now, don't freak out. All right, listen. All right, no one's stalking you. All right, if people are stalking you, call the authorities. All right, that's pretty scary stuff. All right, but I mean, people are watching you. I mean, you have friends that are watching you. You have maybe kids are watching you if you're parents, and your parents may be watching you if you're kids. Maybe you're famous. Maybe you've got a lot of people watching you. Maybe you're a police officer or somebody in a higher authority that a lot of people are watching to learn from or to evaluate how you're acting. Whatever the case it is, being famous, being a parent, being a part of like a firefighter's team or police officers, or if you've got kids, whatever it is, people are watching you. And I want to let you know, or ask you actually, not let you know, but just ask you, are you acting in a way you want these other people who are watching you to act? Believe it or not, you're an impressionable person to somebody in life, whoever it is down the road. All right, you may have a little brother that really looks up to you. You may have parents that look up to you as well. Maybe you're teaching your parents something new. You never know. Maybe you've got friends who look up to you or look forward to talking to you. Or maybe if in the famous aspect, you've got lots of people who look up to you because you're out there making some whatever kind of entertainment / kind of famous thing you did. I'd like to go over what the true definition of watch really means. And that's to look at or observe attentively over a period of time. So that's what people are doing when they're watching you. I mean, it can be your family, like I said, family, friends, kids, your following. You know, even if you're a teacher, you have students who are watching you. You know, they want to learn. People probably go look up to you and they want to learn from you. You can ultimately make or break people just by the way you live. It's true. Other people out there are watching you and they want to learn who you are. So are you building yourself in a way that other people are going to look at you and say, that's someone I want to be? Now, here's the thing, though. You may be building yourself in a way, in a bad way, but not realizing that, and other people are still watching you, and they want to be that bad version of you, but they don't know it's bad either. Maybe you don't know it's bad to act the way you're acting. Are you snapping to anger too quick? Do you lie secretly behind the scenes? Do you twist situations that are not needing to be twisted at all? What you ultimately do can either affect people's view on you or affect the lives that they may live in the future. So your actions and your words and the way you act can ultimately affect the future of any child or your parents, kids, anyone who's following you, if you're popular, or any of your students. Your choices matter. You may think they don't matter. And hey, listen, a lot of people even think that, let's say for a following or people with a following, for example, sometimes people put on a character. And that's fine. Listen, it's an entertainment thing. I totally get it. But sometimes people put on the character and then behind the scenes, they're kind of like, yeah, I really just like, they're really negative. You know what I mean? They're like super negative. And I've struggled with that myself, by the way. Sometimes when I'm not conversating with somebody or something, I get a little negative sometimes. And I catch myself in the act sometimes because you can't allow yourself to get too negative because it'll ultimately affect how you live as well. And then it'll produce it to other people. Your family members may know how you act, not out in the public, for example. You know, do you want to show them that it's okay to be two-faced, where you're out there being happy sunshine lollipops and like saying everybody's awesome, but behind the scenes you're kind of like, nah, everybody out here is worth nothing. Some people are like that, by the way, so believe it or not. And it saddens me that some people are like that. Your impressions and your actions impact other people, even making them think that it's okay sometimes to act a certain way because you're the one acting like that. If you're a parent, that may be a thing as well. Are you getting way too angry at your kids way too fast? Are you jumping to conclusions? Are you assuming because you're an adult that you've been in life a lot longer than your child has, that you can't learn anything from your child? That's one thing that is a bad thing to share with your child. Do you want your kid to grow up and be somebody like you? Do you want your kid to grow up and be a great person? Then be that great person. Here's the thing that happens if you don't live in a life that's active and learning, in my opinion, and wanting to improve and to be the best person that you can be towards other people and to yourself, is that two things can happen, all right? One, if you're living a wrong kind of life, I'll say that eventually the people in your life will realize that you're living the wrong way in your life. And you know in your heart if you're living the wrong way in your life, by the way, or not. Only you know. Sure, other people may not know at the start, but you may produce this aura around you that's like, man, I'm living the wrong life. And other people may pick up on it. It's a true thing. The first thing that I think will come from this if you're living a bad life is that eventually your kids or your following or your family, friends will pick up on that, and they'll probably resent the way you live. They don't want to live like you, which could ultimately drive people away from you. Scary stuff, huh? You got to pick up your act, I'll say. And another thing is maybe you're living the bad life, but other people are still following you and acting in your ways, but you're living a bad life. You're spreading that bad life, that negativity, that funk, we'll say, to those people, and they'll spread it even more. Because they don't know it's bad, neither do you, because you didn't pick up on it. You have to watch yourself. It's crazy, right? You have to watch yourself. Not only are other people watching you, but you have to watch yourself and be like, all right, am I ultimately being the person that I want other people to be? And that's a mindset you need to have about things in life, is that you need to realize that you need to be the person that you want other people to be. Because people are watching you. Instead of getting angry too fast, just teach yourself that, hey, listen, don't get too angry. Hold back and just listen. Because let me tell you, if you hold back and listen and just understand how people are, the people watching you will understand that. By the other WhizDum Wednesdays I was talking about, depending on how you act in worrying, anger, do you wait, all of that. People are watching you and how you react. So if you react in a worry fest and instantly jump the gun and start freaking out, having an anxiety attack, which is fine, understandable. Listen, you can have an anxiety attack. It's completely normal, all right? But your actions during certain things that you can control ultimately reflect on how other people are going to react to it. And listen, I get it, all right? I'm not saying in any way you have to be perfect, all right? And nobody's perfect. Your shoes aren't going to be shiny all the time, all right? It's impossible to be perfect. But the biggest thing that I think that will be a big impression of other people is if they see someone who's actively learning and trying to improve who they are and not trying to bring other people down. If you try to be the best that you can be in a most understanding way and to not affect other people in the process of hurting them, other people or the people who look up to you will see that and be like, wow, I want to be like that. Then that's a good thing people want to be like, all right? Do you want to show your kids to be a great person, to go out there and do great things? Then go be that great person and do those great things. You have to understand that you create your atmosphere. You do. So depending on how you act is depending how other people are going to act who watch you and who look up to you. There's nothing wrong trying and doing better than you've been. There's nothing wrong with that. If you've done some bad decisions, man, and then you got all these other people watching you and, wanting to follow you and follow your way of life, you got to actively try to improve yourself and be a good impression as well. If you're a good impression on people, everyone's going to be like, yo, I want to live like this. And then here's the thing too, is that if you're popular being a bad person, yeah, there's going to be people who say, hey, yeah, I want to be like this. But you're making it worse than making it better. Being a good person is hard. Listen, it is, all right? Especially if you've got a lot of people watching you, and the people watching you actually can influence you as well. Crazy, right? The people who look up to you maybe cause you to act in a certain way different from other people. So maybe you're conversating with somebody and having your honest-to-God conversations, and then someone who looks up to you comes up and now you want to show off. You know what I mean? You've got to watch out. Watch yourself. You've got to be careful of what you're portraying in your life, because if you're a parent trying to teach your kid good things of life, don't be a bad parent about things. If you want your kid not to lie, don't lie. I've seen a lot of parents who've just really lied a lot to their kids and everything. It's like, bro, your kids read you. And either two things are going to happen. Like I said, one, your kids are going to resent the way you live, or two, they're going to follow in your footsteps. And if you're living a bad life, both options are bad. You either lose your kid or your kid follows in your bad footsteps. That's screwed up in my opinion. That's a lose-lose situation. This can go to your friends as well. Do you want to lose your friends or have them resent you because of the way you're acting? Your atmosphere is really a thing that you can create. Do you want to build your atmosphere off of negativity or lifting others up? Believe it or not, even when you say some things, when you feel like you should say something, but you know it's the wrong thing, sometimes just even bringing something into light is the wrong thing, by the way. The main thing I want you to remember is this. No way you can be perfect, true. And remember from the last WhizDum Wednesday, I mentioned that, mistakes happen, all right? Listen, I get it. Mistakes happen. But don't make the same constant mistake. Because if people are watching you, one, they'll either learn from your mistakes, or they'll keep making the same mistakes you're making because you're making them as well. And it's okay to make mistakes, like I mentioned in the last one. You can't be perfect, but trying to improve yourself is probably the best thing you can do. The best impression you can show to other people is that, man, this person, yeah, sure, they mess up sometimes, but they own up to what they do. Own up to what you do. That is a good way to show a good impression, is just own up to what you do. And that's another thing with the mistakes as well. Mistakes and watching can really go hand in hand, because your mistakes can ultimately create things that around you. You need to own up to things. Owning up to things is one of the best ways to make a great impression on things as well. Because here's the thing. If you have enough pride, if you have enough energy to lay down your pride and say, listen, I screwed up and I did the wrong thing, and I don't want to portray this image to everybody, and I don't want people to take this and think it's okay to do something like this. That is way more impressionable in a good way than just sitting there and not saying anything about it. Speak up when you do wrong. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with speaking up to when you do wrong. If people stop caring about you just because you did something bad, they never cared in the first place. Here's some ways to fix things. I know I mentioned it a little bit ago. Was one of the main ways of fixing your impressions of people and how they see you is just to own up to your mistakes. Listen, I guarantee you, almost everybody in existence wants to be a good person. I know a lot of people want to do good. And the first way of doing good is just to own up to the bad that you do. It's hard. Listen, it's hard to lay down that pride and say, listen, I'm doing wrong and I really need to change who I am. That makes a better impression. Maybe you've done something wrong and your kid definitely knows you did something wrong, for example. Own up and be like, listen, I know I've been doing this for a while. Or friends, family, anything, following, maybe you did some scumbag thing, all right? You don't have to own up to something you did like 12 years ago, all right? Like, stealing the Tonka toy from the toy chest or something. You don't have to own up to that unless you want to. That's a good thing. But listen, owning up is a big way of showing a good impression. Another way is how you act. Listen, watch how you act. You have got to watch how you act. Because here's the thing. What's the best impression is in the heat of bad situations. If you're calm and collective, that's fine. And listen, I get it. People have different mindsets, different moods. That's okay. But if you're an angry person and get mad way too fast, that's going to show an impression on other people and be like, whoa, this is okay. It's okay to do to get angry really fast. Don't spread that message. Don't spread the message of, oh, it's okay to get angry too fast, Another thing is the things you say. What are you saying that's possibly making other people think it's okay to say? Watch what you say. You see what I'm saying? Watch. Hey, watch your mouth. That's a big thing you gotta watch out, is watch your mouth, dude. Whatever you say can ultimately hurt people. It could change their lives. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. So many times people don't watch their mouths and they say something that they don't need to. Learn. Learn's another thing. Here's another part. Okay, well, I don't want to jump to learn just yet. Hold up. All right. So, watch your mouth. What you say can affect people. Are you speaking negativity to other people? Are they looking at you saying, "Man, this is really cool. I'm going to speak negativity to other people as well." And the fourth part is learn. Learn. Actively learn. Listen, the best way to improve who you are is learn. Learn what goes wrong. Listen. If you're making somebody angry sometimes, and these other people are watching, I know this is not having to do with watching necessarily, but other people are watching this when this happens. If you're doing something that ultimately makes somebody mad, and it does it, learn and improve on the way you say things to other people. Like if you say something that really hurts someone's feelings, and you do it as a joke. Sure, jokes are okay, but it depends on what kind of joke it is. For example, if you're in a relationship with somebody, if you're a parent over a kid and you make a joke that hurts your kid or your significant other's feelings, and you constantly do it, it's gonna hurt their feelings. I'm sure you might say, "Oh, it's just a joke. Do you get over it?" And I agree. Jokes are supposed to be funny. Meaning, if the other person isn't laughing, it's not cool, And if it happens multiple times, then stop it. Listen, that's where you learn. Learn to stop. Learn to not say everything, all right? Listen, some things you don't need to say, all right? One good way to improve a lot of the stuff that you have to go through when it comes to when people are watching you, and don't want to scare you or anything, and this is my belief as a Christian, so if you don't agree with that, that's okay. Listen, you don't have to agree with that. I respect your opinion, and I don't fault you for anything. I'm not going to preach any fire and brimstone either, so don't worry. But I'll say that God's watching. God's watching how you act. Listen, just because you think no one can see you where you're at, someone can, and that's God. He's looking right at you. He's like, why are you doing this? Who you are behind the scenes is the real you, by the way. Be the real you, but improve the real you to be the good person that you want to show other people. And pray. Listen, if you don't feel like you're doing the right decision, pray about it. Say, hey, listen, God, give me guidance. I need guidance for this. I have a big problem with getting guidance, or I get so into an overthinking mode of like, oh, am I doing the right decision? Am I doing things right? Be critical of yourself. It's okay to be critical of yourself. Don't be too critical. I go to the extreme of being too critical. But actively ask yourself, all right, did what I do today, did I make a difference, or did I make a point? Did I make a difference, or did I just make someone's life worse? Ask yourself these things. Listen. Ask yourself those things, and then when you answer them in the right way, you can use your answers that in your heart. It's like, all right, do I need to improve, or do I not need to improve? And pray to God. Listen, the only way you're going to calm your heart about a lot of these things is to pray to God. Personal opinion, that's all it is. And I would like to recap everything I talked about here is that, listen, guys, listen, all right? I don't know who needs this or who needs to like truly know this, but yes, a lot of people are watching you. I don't know who needed this, but people are watching you. It could be your kids, your friends, your parents, fans, like a lot of people who watch you and look up to you. Teachers, if you're a teacher and your students are looking up to you. These people are watching you. They want to learn from you. They want to see how you handle things. Give them a good impression. Show them this is how you're supposed to live life in the good way. And don't force your way of living on other people, but show them a way of living that they're like, all right, I can get behind this and become better people off of it. These are some questions I want you to remember. Are you acting in a way that you want others to act? Are you truly? I want you to remember that you're impressionable. Your actions can really affect other people, and they might even recreate the same actions you created, or you'll end up having other people resent you because of the actions you're making. A big thing I want you to remember is this, all right? It's not possible to be perfect. Don't be perfect. Don't try and be perfect. But try to better who you are and be the best that you can be, because it's impossible to be perfect. And when those bad problems come up, guess what? Own up to them. That's another thing. Own up to them, please. The best thing you can do for yourself is if you make a mistake, own up to it. Owning up to it is one of the best impressions you can make for somebody, because they will be like, all right, it's good to own up to things that you did wrong. Instead of having a lot of people go, oh, okay, well, I'm only going to show part of what I did wrong, so I don't look that bad. Don't do that. Listen, in my opinion, here's the best thing that you can do. If you look really bad, first of all, look really bad, but improve on who that really bad was. Because, listen, no one's perfect, so you're going to do really bad at some point. But be full on blunt and be like, listen, I get it. I've been this bad, but I will improve who I am. Watch your mouth. Seriously, watch what you say to people. It's going to literally, you can make or break people. You can. Don't spread this negativity around. Be somebody who you want to be. Be someone who you want others to be. Do you want others to be a person who talks down to you and talks smack all the time? Who trolls other people and makes them feel bad about themselves? No, I can almost guarantee you not everybody wants that. Some people want that, and free will, I get it, but I doubt a lot of people want to feel sad. The main thing I want you to remember is this. You can't be perfect, but if you actively improve and try to be the best that you can be, that makes a way bigger impression than trying to be perfect. Because if you're trying to be perfect, it means you're trying to do everything to do the best that you can be in an aspect, but you're ended up hurting yourself as well because you're trying too hard to be perfect. Go at your own pace, but here's the thing, don't manipulate your own pace as well. Don't fake it either. Are you a person who fakes? I know I put this here, but are you a person who's being fake around other people? People watch that as well. Are you two-faced? Don't be two-faced. I know this is a weird placement for this, but I really feel like someone needs to hear it right here for some reason. Being fake around other people will see it. They will find out. Don't be fake. Be the realest that you can be, but be real in a way that isn't diminishing other people. I hope you all enjoy this WhizDum Wednesday. I will say that it actually randomly came to me out of nowhere. Like, literally out of nowhere. I literally came up with it tonight. Well, not tonight. Tuesday night is when I'm recording this. But I want to say, listen. The main thing you need to remember, people are watching you. Watch yourself. Become a better person. So that other people may become that better person that you strive to be. But I hope you all enjoyed it. It was really fun to make. I've been thinking about making this for a while. I literally have. I had the idea, and then today it just really boom, it really hit me, and I was like, all right, I've got to talk about this. I don't know why, but I got to talk about this. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. Please give me any feedback at all if you can. I take any feedback into consideration to improve who I need to be as a content creator and somebody who wants to just share some wisdom around. Also, by the way, the next upcoming 2 weeks, possibly, I will be having a special guest on our super cool WhizDum Wednesdays, and it's somebody from church, and I think it'd be a really cool thing to incorporate him in. But I will say that the next week will most likely, either next week or the week after next week, will be kind of a godly conversation. So I want to say that if you're not a big fan of godly conversations, then I do highly encourage you to watch it. It won't be any like forceful like religious talk where just like shoving God down somebody's throat or anything like that, but it'll be a real cool discussion, I think. What do you call it? I've had some conversations with our special guests that'll come either next week or the week after, and you know, the man's got some good wisdom on him, and I think that's I think it's a cool thing to share and just listen to, because he came up with some pretty cool premises for 2 of them, and I really want to share them with you. And I also want to give another perspective besides my own, because I feel like that will help me improve as a person as well, but not only improve our guests, but improve other people and see other perspectives as well. If you'd like to keep up with me on any social medias, I've got Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and I also have a Discord channel if you'd like to check it out. It should be in my description of my YouTube channel and my Twitch channel, which I also have a Twitch channel and a YouTube channel, believe it or not. And the YouTube channel is where I post all my WhizDum Wednesday segments, and I'm going to start putting VODs on there as well for my Twitch channel, so please go check out my Twitch channel as well, twitch.tv/SirDerpyCreeper. And it's a cool thing because I get to conversate after stream and just have some pretty real conversations. The ones I really liked are Weight and Wrath, because those have they have been really good when it came to after discussions, and I conversate with viewers, and so I'd highly encourage any of you to check it out. I really appreciate it if you could. Anyway, that was the end of this WhizDum Wednesday. I hope this was able to make you all a whiz out of making wise decisions and to steam them up and to make them even better. Until next time on the next WhizDum Wednesday, I'm Sir Derpy Creeper, and I'll see you next week.